guys, my name is Rebekah Mickle, and I am the children's minister at First Baptist Church here in Cullman, and I am so excited to read to you your bedtime story tonight, which is my favorite story when I was a little girl. And this is an older book, but I think you are really going to love it as much as I did, and it is The Tale of Martha B. Rabbit. Let's dive in. Once there was a small brown rabbit whose name was Martha B. Rabbit. Her house was at the foot of an old apple tree in the middle of a wild and tangled forest. There were bright flowers at the front of the house, and at the back was a vegetable garden where she grew all the things that rabbits like to eat. Martha loved to cook. Her buns and cakes were the best in the forest. Every tiny mouse who passed by on the way to school lingered hopefully by her door, knowing that if she came out, there would be tasty treats for them. Rosehip toffee in her apron pocket or something for them to eat. Weary elves were given buns and acorn coffee in her cozy kitchen. All through the summer, Martha grew, gathered, and preserved the food that would keep her during the long, cold winter. She dried and bottled the jewel-bright summer fruits, made jams, and gathered nuts to grind into flour. When the autumn leaves fell, she stacked firewood under the eaves and brought in baskets of rosy apples. Now, all through the snowy winter, she could stay warm and snug inside. One wintry day, when the frost made a crackling white carpet on the forest floor, 3 rats moved into the forest. They were robber rats who lived by stealing what belonged to other people. They had almost been caught in the town, so now they had to flee to the forest, looking for a deeper, darker hole in which to hide. These rats were bold and bad, rough and rude, and afraid of nothing except cats. The rats soon ran out of food. They were not used to living away from the town and had no stores to keep them through the winter. One of them had a wicked idea. Let's creep over to that brown rabbit's house and steal all her food while she's asleep. The others agreed that it was a great plan. Not one of them thought what Martha would do through the long, dark winter. In the middle of the night, the rats pulled on their stolen boots, packed up their housebreaking tools, and set off along the forest path. In the pale winter moonlight, they quietly forced open Martha's door and crept inside. Then they filled their sack with all the food in her larder, everything but the mustard, which rats don't like. When Martha came down the next morning, she was horrified, seeing empty cupboards, rat footprints, and nothing but a jar of mustard left. At first, she just cried, but Martha knew crying wouldn't feed her through the winter. She had to take care of herself. So she dried her eyes, packed her recipe book in her basket, and set off to try to find work doing what she did best, cooking. All that long, cold day, the small brown rabbit trudged through the forest. She knocked at the door of each treehouse, asking if anyone needed a cook, but no one did. Martha went further, frightened now by every rustle in the bushes. Suddenly, a big red fox sprang out and very nearly caught her. She dived into a hole, but the fox kept trying to get in after her. His yellow eyes gleamed, and she felt his hot breath on her face. When a tiny mouse called to her, "Quick, follow me. I'll show you a way out where Foxy won't see you." When Martha came out of the hole, the wintry sun had begun to set. She had sadly turned to go back to her cold and empty house when 2 small birds fluttered down. "Martha, we know who is looking for a cook," they chorused. "The gnome who runs the guest house." The brown rabbit thanked them and set off, feeling much more cheerful. On summer nights when the big silver moon is shining, the fairies and elves play among the flowers and leaves all night and sleep during the day. But in the winter, it's too cold for them outside, so they move into guest houses run by gnomes, where they can dance and play by firelight instead. It was just such a guest house which needed a cook. When Martha arrived, she found a tearful kitten sweeping the snow from the doorstep. Tabitha Cat had burnt the cakes again. Mr. Gnome had crossly ordered her to leave, but where would she go in the middle of winter? "Don't cry," said Martha. "I am Martha B. Rabbit, the cook. You can come and live with me in my apple tree house. The robber rats won't come back if you're there." Mr. No came hurrying downstairs. He had heard all about Martha B. Rabbit, the best cook in the forest, and wanted to ask her to cook for his fairy guests. In return, he agreed to feed the rabbit and the kitten through the winter months. "But we must hurry," said Mr. Gnome. "Fairies have a party every week, and tonight is party night." While Tabitha tidied the house and decorated it with pine branches and tinsel, Martha and Mr. Gnome prepared the food. Party food for fairies must be very special, so Martha made trifles, jellies, fruitcakes, chocolate eclairs, and gingerbread. And Mr. Gnome made buns, sausage rolls, and lots of party pies. Fairies are sleepy during the day and only really wake up when the stars come out. At last, they came downstairs with shining wings and sparkling dresses, all the colors of summer flowers. An orchestra of pixies played sweet music, and the fairies danced and sang. Later, the party supper was laid out on toadstool tables. Now came the test of Martha's cooking. Would these lovely creatures like her food, she wondered? Yes, she need not have worried. All the guests agreed that hers was the best food they'd ever tasted. They begged Mr. Gnome to make sure she cooked their food every week. When the stars began to fade in the sky, the fairies and elves grew tired and began to go upstairs to their beds. Mr. Gnome, Martha, and Tabitha tidied up, washed the dishes, and ate their own supper. Then, with enough food to last them until the next fairy party, the small brown rabbit and the tired kitten set off for home in the cold, early dawn. And so all ended happily. Martha and Tabitha Cat lived together in the house under the apple tree, each helping the other. Every week they worked for Mr. Gnome, and then they came home with plenty of food. And no rats ever came near the cozy little house now that a cat, though only a very small cat, lived there. And look at that. They caught the rats. Boys and girls, I hope you have a great night and sweet dreams and dream of yummy food and fairies and gnomes dancing in the forest. Good night.